Whoa, this is The Illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth. This one goes out for Alice in the UK, who saw my video about how food relates to depression and what we put into our body kind of dictates how our spacesuit works and we perceive information. She was asking me where to get started with the food thing. As a person who's doesn't have any more knowledge than any other person, except I changed my intent, right? Once I became aware that there could be a difference, and for me, it was having a child and going, what am I going to put into my child? And realizing like, whoa, why would I put dirty food into my kid? Why would I put it into myself if I'm not going to put it into my kid, right? And that began me really looking at what it was. And so I always go to the thing as like, the answer lies in your intent. The solution lies in your intent. If you want to eat a cleaner, healthier diet, you've already made a decision. And once you've made a decision, energetically, the universe is going to provide the answer to that intent, because that's what it wants to do. It wants you to be happy, joyous, and free. And it's like, oh, you've realized that what you put into your spacesuit will make you happy, joyous, and free. And there's this thing that I heard, and I'll pass it on, was I was listening to this talk, and it was about supplements, right? Like, I take a lot of supplements, and sure, you've got to pay for your supplements, right? And it's part of our monthly expenses. And the way it was explained to me is this: is you begin to feel better, right? So you make the investment on yourself first. You go, all right, man, I'm gonna put this money into this thing right here, these supplements. Well, what happens, and I witnessed this in my own life, is you begin to feel better, right? So energetically, you're casting a different energy out into your reality that you're experiencing, and that energy is more positive, more abundant, more flowing. So it attracts an abundant flowing energy back to you. Suddenly the snowball gets going where, like, what was an investment on yourself is now paying for itself, because energetically you're not deficient. And when I heard that, it really made a lot of sense to me, was that, yeah, you've got to start somewhere and begin to like change your energy in order for the energy to change you, right? The energy can't change you if you don't want to change yourself. So when we look at the food thing, like this gal was talking about the organic food, and it's tough to buy it in the UK, and I think she probably lives in a city. All right, this is the thing. You've changed your intent. I like, for me, like, I remember pre-organic, now I don't buy anything that isn't organic. I'm a full believer in it. I'm supporting the industry in that sense of like, I'm like using my dollars to buy all my stuff organic. You could say that it's just a label on a package, and I can go there with you. But what I'm getting at is, there's an expense associated with it. An apple that's organic costs more than an apple that is inorganic. Yet an apple that is organic is energetically different. Call it psychosomatic. Call it the placebo effect. I know that when I eat an organic apple, and I eat the same, it's not the same, but like the same style of apple that isn't organic, the organic apple actually tastes a lot better. And I know that the way it's supposed to work is the apple that isn't organic was maybe washed in stuff and pesticides and different vibe, right? Just a different vibe all the way through the process. So energetically, like, let's say it costs 20 cents more an apple. Yeah, it's like, that's an apple, 20 cents more. So let's say you went in there and you spent, let's say you're spending $100 on your groceries, right? That's probably a lowball number in today's world. But let's say you're spending $100 on your groceries. Now to get like all organic stuff, your groceries cost $1.20. Well, you're like, wow, that's an increase. I should hit you with a percentage, but my mind isn't working that quick. So all of a sudden your food bill's costing more. But what I'm getting at is your food bill's costing more, but you feel better, so you're able to be more productive out in the world, which productivity and positivity in this flow gives you more opportunities. People see a different glow coming out of your skin because you're eating healthier food. What we have to understand is that the food supply has been tainted by Monsanto, but not only there. That's why you got to take a lot of supplements, is because the soil has been depleted. Like, most people don't understand, it's not even the whole thing. It's the soil has been depleted. So you could eat organic food, but your soil might be depleted, that this organic food's being raised without pesticides and chemicals, yet the soil's depleted. So that's where the supplements come in, and you got to augment your food supply. But again, getting back to the problem of organic food in the city and the whole thing, is what I would say is, the minute you've changed your intent, that like, I want to eat organic food, and you've gotten over the hurdle of paying a little bit more for it, and you realize this is an investment in yourself, that the organic food will begin to show up for you, because now you're looking for it, right? Now your intent is, I want to have organic food. So all of a sudden you might catch there's a farmer's market going on over in some other town. Or if I take the tube over to this other town, there's a farmer's market there. Or somebody's like, oh, hey, there's an organic market. Or you see something, like, all of a sudden, because your intent has changed, the universe will provide the information that you're receiving. Because again, remember, we're limiting. Our mind is only able to process so much information. There's so much information coming into our spacesuit through the 5 senses that it has to filter it out. So if you're not looking for organic information, your brain is just like filtering it out. Like, it doesn't need that information. But the minute you are like, I want organic food in my life, your brain's like, all right, let's look for the organic food. And all of a sudden you'll find it, and it'll lead you to the next person. That person will be like, here, you should read this. Or like, you know what I do? I do this and that and this and that. And hey, check out this guy's YouTube video and this and that. And all of a sudden you begin to build the snowball of information. And my trip is to stay out of that, do this, do that, do this. All I'm saying, my big thing is, the minute you've changed your intent, the information will begin to show up. You just have to be willing to receive the information and use your discernment to go, cross-reference it maybe. Do a little trial and error. Experiment with what it is. Look, I'll tell you this. The food supply has been poisoned. And it's being deliberately poisoned to get you to be sluggish, slow, and depressed, right? It doesn't want you a glowing, radiating, beautiful being. That's why the food's dirty. And it doesn't have anything to do with mass agriculture. That, look, for from what I understand, let's say corn in the United States. Organic corn's grown in the Central Valley of California. The corn grown in the rest of the country is GMO. That's how they keep it separate. Or I don't really know. But this is what I've heard and of what I understand. They can grow organic food in massive quantities. You look at what Russia wants to do. Russia wants to be the leading exporter of organic food crops. You look at what's going on in some of the Eastern Europe countries where they've banned genetically modified food crops. And I know who Mendel was, and I understand genetic modification. We're talking about Monsanto's genetic modification. We're not talking about Mendel and making a better pea. That's not what we're talking about in 2018. We're talking about food that's been deliberately poisoned to make you a less effective spiritual being in a human spacesuit. What we do know for sure is high fructose corn syrup is poison. White flour is poison. White sugar is poison. You can argue that dairy is really toxic for you. So we got to begin to look. I personally, you got to do your own thing, man. But what I'm saying is the minute I switched to the deal, it began to open itself up to me, and it began to give me the information, and it began to normalize. When I first started taking supplements, it was, dude, I do not go a day without taking my supplements. It's part of my routine now, and it's part of my energetic thing, and it's taking care of itself. It's just part of my life. It's not an expense. It's just me taking care of myself. And I think that we forget as human beings is one of the most valuable things we can put our, I don't even want to talk about what currency is, but the money, what the money we have, our energetic force that we use in this exchange. One of the most important things we can use, be an expense, is self-care. I didn't understand this concept. The hologram turned me on to it. Self-care is super important. If you are not feeling good inside your spacesuit, how do you expect to perceive a positive reality? It was like rocket science to me when if I feel better, I perceive the world as a friendlier place. And the friendlier it is to me, the more happy I feel, the more I want to radiate happiness, the more I want to take care of myself. Oh, but we got to start somewhere. And all I'm saying is the minute you've changed your intent, you've already started. Now you just have to go with it, man. You have to begin to do a little bit of work and a little bit of exploration and allow the information to come. Use your discernment to filter it. Alice, I hope that did it for you over in the UK. And this is The Illusion, signing off.